I just got paid, so let's see how we did in September and what my payday routine would be like in October. But first, I need a drink. This is basically Korea's version of Red Bull. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am in my 30s, living in South Korea, working as an English teacher. I have had many careers throughout my lifetime before moving to Korea, and I do make what I consider a low income here in Korea. I do have a partner. We live together. We also have 2 cats. So you'll see that a little bit of my expenses goes toward these few things that I have here in Korea. How it works in South Korea is that I get paid once per month and I'm on a salary. That means that my payments don't really change much unless my insurance premiums change. So as of recently, I've been getting paid 2,288,820 Korean won. This is after all of the insurance premiums gets paid out, and this is my net take-home income. I also receive a housing stipend, but that's not really much left over. You'll see that in my budget. So I currently use the budget from Plenty. I think this is the first iteration of it. There is a version 2 out there, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just using the budget tracker that I have. I actually only use this one to give you guys a visual idea as to like what my budget looks like. But on a day-to-day basis, I do use YNAB, which I've mentioned in my previous video how I am trying to figure out different alternatives for it. But for now, we have YNAB and we have this budget tracker. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is the budget that I'm currently using to give you guys a better visual representation of how my budget is doing. And I am zoomed in a little bit bigger just because I need to see. So if you look at this part of the budget where it says income, this is how much I have to work with for the month of September. 2,039,427. So my take-home pay for this month was 2,308,820, and then my rollover was 10,000 Korean won. This is from my housing stipend. So I get a housing stipend and then I use it to pay for rent, and this is how much I have left over after I paid off for everything. Whatever is here, like credit card, dining out, and transportation, these are all budget categories that I have overspent on. So I had to take it out of the working budget because I owe myself money. And I also have cashback money from my debit card as well. And this is what we have to work with. If you look up here, I have overspent by this much, 147,949. And I'm not really happy with that number. It could have been less, but a few things sprung up on me. So we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty details. Down at savings, I really had to think about like what I wanted to prioritize just because I was over budget and I didn't have a lot to start off with. Hana is a savings account that automatically takes money out of my account, so that's something that doesn't change every month. And then I wanted to prioritize vacation, medical, and my gym membership. So vacation, obviously I'm going on a trip next month, so I wanted to be able to put money aside for that so that I can enjoy my vacation. Medical, I initially wanted to create a sinking fund on this, but now I realize that maybe the better idea would be to just buy private health insurance, because 100,000 per month for medical is actually probably doing more harm to my budget than good. And then my gym membership, I'm putting away 175,000 per month, but the deadline for that is coming up, and so I don't really have much time to save up for it. I have actually asked my partner to help me pay for my portion of my gym membership, so we'll see how this goes, but I am still trying to actively put money aside for that because it's something that I really prioritize for my health and my mental health. So in total, I have saved 525 for my savings in September. Now going on to bills, I changed this around a little bit. For bills, I try to put down categories that didn't have much of a variable number per month. So my lunch, my phone, iCloud, coupon, Netflix, YouTube, and my bank notifications. That's something that was not in my previous video. So my lunch for this month was actually a little bit over than normal because they combined 2 months of lunches together. So I had to pay more than my normal amount. Usually it's under by like 10 or 15, but for this month it was over by like 18,800, which makes me sad, but it is what it is. My phone bill and then my iClouds are pretty fixed. My coupon came out actually, so I'm gonna go ahead down here and put the number in. Coupon. Alright, so it's already updated there. Netflix is also another thing. YouTube, I forgot to put this into my budget. I thought this is going to come out of my shared joint account that I share with my partner, but it comes out of my account. So that's why I'm also partially over this month on this budget, just because I just forgot where I was paying it from. And then my bank notifications, this is basically where I get text notifications every time I get money deposited or I use my money, spend my money. So this is very important because just in case I need to make sure that I stay on top of my budget. If I miss a transaction, I can always go back to my text messages and look at that. So I did not have this budget category before because I always just put it off and I always forgot about it. But now I need to be like more granular with things that are coming out of my account, so that's why it's there. And again, over budget by $1,100. So my total bills for this month is $201,091. Moving on to expenses. Now this is where I put expenses that changes every single month. So for family expenses, I put in 1,000,000 Korean won. For education, I put in 100. So this will change coming to next month because we have a long holiday. That means that we will not be taking as many lessons as I normally would. So that's going to go down next month. For spending, I overspent on so many different things. So the first part is we have a coworker. She recently got married and I decided to give her some congratulations money as per Asian customs to congratulate them on their marriage. And then I think I also overspent on buying knee pads for volleyball because I just started to play volleyball with my school, and a few other things that I forgot. But I am planning to write down exactly the things that I buy per month just to have a better snapshot as to like what I am prioritizing my spending money towards, because looking at this, I'm not happy about it. For transportation, I just did an account for last month's usage, so there's that. And then credit card annual fees, pretty self-explanatory. I kind of put money away each month to pay off for my credit card annual fees. And then needs spending. This is where I didn't know that we had a collective office snack fund to pay for this month. And so it's just a collective fund where we use that money to pay for snacks and coffee in our entire office to be used for the entire semester at school. And I didn't realize that that was an expense, and that meant that that came out of my budget, which makes me over budget for September as well. My overall expenses is $1,469,176. That's a lot of numbers. But I'm actually not done because I didn't actually update some of my stuff. So we updated coupon. I also need to update one more thing, which is I did buy some things for our vacation. This goes into spending. So as of today, September 27th, I have overspent 161,339 won for September. So my total expenses is pretty much almost the entirety of my paycheck. That was a really sad budget because yeah, like I was over budget for like 2 months, and I'm hoping that for October I'm a little bit better at not spending as much money, but also because we do have a vacation, we're homeless, and that means that I don't really have to put more money into my vacation fund and things like that. So let's get into what my budget breakdown would be for this October payday. For the sake of Halloween, I decided to change the color into orange. So I already inputted some numbers. So for October, we have a working income of 2,137,481 Korean won. I haven't put any cash back yet because those comes out, you know, throughout the month, but when it does come, that's when I update it. And then I am over budget by this much. So let's go ahead and go into savings. So for savings, I'm definitely going to be putting in 150,000 because it's automatic. For vacation, Because I'm basically going on vacation like literally on the 3rd of October, I feel like that this can be left at 0. For medical, I might just put in just 50. And then for gym membership, I'm going to put in the same amount as I did last time. Okay. So those are like my top priority savings accounts. What I'm going to do next is let's go into bills, and then whatever we have left over, we can either put it into our spending money or put it back into savings. So for bills, these don't really change, but I do have to put in the amount for YouTube, which is this, $29,800. And this is for like 2 people. Unfortunately, I'm not able to have a family plan as a person living in Korea using YouTube Premium. I know like abroad, like Canada, America, you're able to have a family plan and save money that way, but for some reason we just don't have that option over here, which is really sad, but it is what it is. My lunch fee is not going to be any different. Same with phone, iCloud, coupon, Netflix, YouTube, and my big notifications. These are all fixed, so I don't have to do too much work about that. For expenses, this is where things can have to change a little bit. My family expenses won't change at all. Education, I'm actually going to lower this down to 75. Each of my classes is 25,000, and I'll be only taking 3 classes next month, so that's a little bit lower. For spending, I'm going to leave that till last. Transportation, we are going to be traveling for like 1 week in October, and that means that I think I'll just budget like maybe 30,000 won. Let's do 40. Credit card annual fee doesn't change, and then needs spending, I'm gonna put in 30,000 for this one. Okay, let's see, left to budget is 411. So I do think I want to put more money into spending, so I do want to put in like 300, because I do think that that's a pretty like good number to work with. I seem to always be spending in that range anyways, so 300 sounds good. Okay, so I only have 111,000 to work with, so let's go over here. I think what I want to do is actually put this into Christmas. I'm actually going to just do what? I'll do 50 for Christmas and then 60 for hobbies, because I want to be able to pay for my Pilates classes. So looking back at to what we have left, we have 1,287 Korean won left, and I could follow like a zero-based budget plan for this, but what I normally do is that I just leave this amount to next month, and that works for me, just because you never know when you need that extra 1,000 Korean won. And that's pretty much it for my October budget. So what I like to do is that as the month goes by, I like to just go in and update things if I need to, if things change, if my situation changes. Okay, my camera just died, but that's basically what I have coming up for October. This will definitely change, as it always does, but the great thing about having a budget is that it's a living and breathing thing, so your budget can change as your lifestyle change and as circumstances comes up. So that's basically what I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.